Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm just going to be doing a quick get ready with me. So right here I'm priming my eyes with the Essence I Heart Stage eyeshadow base, and I'm just blending it out all over my lids. And then in a moment you'll see me setting it with the Mercier translucent setting powder. I'm not one of those people that doesn't set their lids before going into eyeshadow. I can't do that. So I'm going to be setting it with my Mercier. And then from there I'm hopping into eyeshadow, and I'm going to be using the Norvina palette today. And the first color that I use is Incense, and it's just a matte cool tone brown. It looks a lot warmer on my eye than it does in the pan, but it's like a warm neutral. So I'm just blending that into my crease, as you can see right here. So I'm just going to keep blending that color into my crease and just applying more and more and building it up to my desired liking. I keep looking over at my multiple mirrors just to make sure it's how I want it to look. Now right here, it looks a little patchy. I'm not even going to lie. It looks a little patchy, but as we go through the look, it doesn't look like that as I blend even more. So let's ignore the fact that it kind of looks patchy in this few clips. But as I apply more shadow and just build it up and continue to blend, it looks really cute at the end of the day. I've been using this palette for about, I want to say, at least a week or two, and I've been really enjoying it. So as you can see here, I'm just blending it out a little bit more because I noticed that it looked a little patchy in certain areas. But I still think the eyeshadow is, good quality. I own a lot of Anastasia palettes, so I'm continuously impressed by their shades. It's just my application of it looked a little patchy. So here I am applying the color Eccentric, I think it's how it's pronounced. So that's me applying the Eccentric color, which is kind of like a mustardy brownie orange. So I'm just applying that into my crease in the same spot where I applied the first shade. And from there, I'm just pretty much just blending it into my crease and just, building it up to how I like it and just seeing where I go with the look. This is probably, over the last couple of weeks, probably like the third or fourth time I've really been enjoying this palette. For the most part, I would say this is probably like in my top 3 of Anastasia palettes. I feel like the World Travelers one was my favorite, and then next would be the Soft Glam, and then this one. I feel like it's the most cohesive as far as color arrangement, and it made the most sense, and it's the most wearable based on the colors that are in here and what kind of looks you can get from the colors that are in the palette. So I would say this is probably the most, like I said, cohesive. So right here, you can see me just blending it out a little bit more because I realize it looks a little harsh. I switch brushes a lot throughout this tutorial. I probably use like a good 5 to 6 brushes just in my crease alone, because I feel like different brushes give you different effects. So right here I'm using like a Wet n Wild blending brush, and I'm just blending out my crease even more. I build up the color, blend it out, build up. So right here I'm using a sticky base, just because I'm gonna go in with my lid color now. This was a really simple look. I didn't want it to be too many shades, but the shade that I'm using on my lids is the color Summer in the palette, and it's like a nice gold shade, and as you can see from the sticky base, it allows the color to be a lot more vibrant and pop more, and I feel like it's a really cute color. So I always apply it with my fingers, and then I go in with a more detailed brush just to get in my inner corners, because obviously I can't get into my inner corners because I have nails. But I'm just using a small detailed brush from Morphe, and I'm going and applying some more of the Summer shade on my lid, and just making sure that I get it as perfect as I want it to be. Here I am checking to make sure that it looks good, and just making sure I got every single spot and nothing looks, too patchy or too crazy. We want our eyeshadow to be cute. So I also go back in and blend a little bit more just to make sure the crease to lid is seamless, and I'm just blending some more. I blend a lot, so just be prepared to see me blend a lot. Blending some more. Oh my gosh, can girl blend. As you can see how it doesn't look like too crazy right now. It looks pretty good. So right now I'm hopping into foundation, and I'm starting with my primer, which is the Maybelline Master Prime. It's the hydrating one. I'm using a mattifying foundation, so that's why I decided to use a hydrating primer. And the foundation I'm going in with is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation, and I'm using the color Warm Caramel. This is my first time trying this foundation, and when I tell you, girl, it was a perfect match. I know it looks a little dark on camera, but to be honest, as I'm blending out, it's like the perfect shade to my neck. My face is just a tad lighter than my neck, and as you can see here, I'm just blending it out. This was a really great experience with a foundation. I've been testing out foundations for the last couple of weeks, and I feel like this one is the one that's impressed me the most in probably the last month or two. Right now I'm using the KKW Beauty concealer in the shade 12. I blend out on my forehead, and then I blend underneath both of my eyes, and then I go on to blending out on my nose. I really like this concealer. I kind of wish I had a shade that was a little bit lighter, but the shade 12 is like a natural highlight on me, and I liked it, and this was just a everyday look. Now I'm going in setting my under eyes with my Laura Mercier. As you can see here, when I set under my eyes, I kind of look up as I'm doing it. I have like natural creases underneath my eyes, and to avoid setting the creases and causing more creasage throughout the day, I kind of look up as I do it. So I'm setting my face, and now I'm contouring my face with my Morphe contour palette. I believe I used the H8 or 8H high Fi contour palette. And now I'm blending it out and then just cleaning up my contour a bit because I got a little messy with some Laura Mercier translucent setting powder on my jawline. I always do this anytime I contour. Now I'm going into blush. I believe I'm using Wet n Wild's Mellow Wine, and as you can see here, I get really heavy-handed with blush sometimes. I'll be fixing that in a moment. Like, I know some people look at it and they're like, okay, that's a lot of blush, that's a lot of contour, but I blend it out and, you know, whatnot. Here I am blending it out. So, I'm gonna hop into brows now. I know this whole video you were probably like, girl, you haven't started your brows yet, like you have no brows. I know. I tweeze and pluck my brows to death. So yeah, I essentially, when I don't fill in my brows, I have no eyebrows. So here I am filling in my brows. I use the ColourPop brow gel in the color Black and Brown. I wish I used the color Brunette, but since my hair is pretty dark, I can get away with using that shade. I believe it's the darkest shade that ColourPop gives. So as you can see here, I'm just filling in my brows. I'm out of frame a lot in this portion of the video because I get really close to my mirror. So as you can see here, I just spoolie it out as I go along, and I just flick at the front to make them look as natural as possible. Doing my brows takes a really long time, so girl, this is a process right here, which is why I do it pretty much after I do my entire base. So here I'm just applying the shade Base from the Norvina palette underneath my brow bone to highlight. This is a gorgeous shade, I feel like, for any skin tone, especially medium to darker skin tones as a brow bone highlight. I really liked how this shade just made the look pop. So now I'm contouring my nose, just slightly. I'm not going too crazy, just like a little light shadow. I'm applying mascara with my Benefit Roller Lash, one of my favorite mascaras. And then I just set my brows really quickly because I almost forgot. And I use the Maybelline brow gel in soft brown just to soften my brows a little bit so they don't look too harsh and they look a little bit more natural. Now I'm taking the two shades that I put in my crease and I mix them together and I just buff them on my lower lash line. I go a little light-handed with my lower lash line because after all that highlighting I did under my eyes, I cannot be looking like a raccoon. Not today. It's not that type of look. So then I apply a little bit of liner to my waterline, a little bit of black liner, And then I go on to using a highlighter from the Morphe Contour palette. And then I apply some lashes from eyelure. And at this point, my camera decided to die. And I'm just showing you a photo of what I posted on Instagram of the finished look. Thanks for watching. Bye.